Please subscribe to our channel, Pacific Front Untold, and be sure to leave a comment after watching a video.
The world's most powerful corporate dynasties often bring to mind names like Rockefeller, Carnegie, or Rothschild. But in Japan, the equivalent industrial empires were the Zaibatsu, a group of powerful family-run conglomerates that transformed Japan from a feudal society into a modern industrial power. These economic giants not only drove Japan's modernization during the Meiji-era, but also played a central role in its imperial expansion and war machine during World War II. This post introduces the Zaibatsu, who they were, how they rose to dominance, and the shadow they cast over Japan's wartime legacy. The word Zaibatsu translates to financial clique, and that is precisely what they were: family-controlled business empires that monopolized industries. These conglomerates were vertically integrated, owning every level of production and distribution. At the top was a holding company, usually managed by the founding family, overseeing subsidiaries in banking, shipping, mining, textiles, chemicals, and heavy machinery. The most famous Zaibatsu were Mitsui. Originally a merchant house, it expanded into finance, mining, and chemicals. Mitsubishi. Founded by Iwasaki Yataro, it began in shipping and grew into shipbuilding, banking, and steel. Sumitomo. Rooted in copper mining, it evolved into a major industrial conglomerate. Yasuda. Known primarily for banking and insurance. These families wielded immense power in both the private and public spheres. By the 1930s, the top four Zaibatsu controlled more than 30% of Japan's industrial output and banking assets. The Zaibatsu's ascent coincided with the Meiji Restoration, 1868 to 1912, a period of rapid modernization as Japan sought to catch up with the West. The government encouraged industrial growth, often selling state-run enterprises to private families at low prices, a process known as state-guided capitalism. The Zaibatsu became ideal partners, using their capital and networks to establish factories, mines, and trading companies. Their role wasn't limited to economics. The Zaibatsu cultivated close ties with government officials and military leaders, forming a business-bureaucratic alliance that shaped national policy. Their influence extended into education, media, and foreign diplomacy, shaping the image of a unified, industrialized Japan. By the 1930s, as Japan turned aggressively imperialist, the Zaibatsu became deeply entangled in the military-industrial complex. They supplied raw materials, weapons, and ships for Japan's expansion into China, Korea, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific. For example, Mitsubishi was Japan's largest producer of warships and military aircraft, including the infamous Zero fighter. Mitsui ran munitions factories and chemical plants supporting battlefield operations. Sumitomo provided metals and machinery essential for wartime manufacturing. Their factories not only produced weapons but also relied on forced labor from prisoners of war and conscripted workers from Korea, China, and Southeast Asia under brutal conditions. Mitsubishi and Mitsui, in particular, have faced lawsuits and international condemnation for wartime human rights abuses. These practices were part of a broader system where economic might enabled and profited from imperial violence. The Zaibatsu's wealth skyrocketed during the war, but at an immense human cost. Following Japan's defeat in 1945, U.S. occupation authorities recognized the Zaibatsu's role in militarism and dismantled their holding companies, redistributing assets and curtailing family control. However, the dissolution was incomplete. Many former subsidiaries regrouped into looser corporate networks called Keiretsu during Japan's post-war economic miracle. While the old Zaibatsu families no longer held direct control, their influence persisted through interlocking business relationships and legacy branding. Today, companies like Mitsubishi Corporation and Sumitomo Mitsui Banking remain global players, carrying names tied to Imperial Japan's most powerful and controversial dynasties. Understanding the Zaibatsu offers insight into Japanese economic history and the intersection of corporate power with nationalism, war, and memory. Like their Western counterparts, these industrial titans amassed enormous influence, but their legacies are stained by their role in one of the 20th century's most destructive wars.